Hi, we're back again, and we have an author this time, and this lady has been here a couple of times before, so you might recognize her, and her name is Gail Daley. Gail, so
Hi,
glad to
Carol.
have you back.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Yes, and this time you're going to talk not on your art, but on your books.
Yes, yes.
And I didn't know how many books you had written.
Well, I've actually published 5, and the 6th one is being edited.
Wow.
This one right here came out in September, and it is a different series than this one. This is Warriors of Saint Anthony, and it is about it's a Portal World series.
Oh.
The Portal Worlds are I made it easy in the books. I don't really go into the sci-fi aspects of it, of how they do it, because that gets dated real easy. But the portals turned out to be really easy to make, so they started popping up all over the place, which the government didn't like very much. If you went through an illegal portal like the way these people's ancestors did, all you could take was just what you had, and you didn't get any support from home. So they actually created a society that is pretty much they use steam power because steam's easy to make. It's something you don't need this big industry to support it, and everything is pretty much runs on steam for them.
Wow.
It's a little, the cover, as you can see, is very like, I took some things from steampunk because it's pretty much like the Victorian era where they did steampunk. They had modern things, which obviously these people do, but they also had, it was all run on steam. And this is about these 3 sisters whose mother, or his grandmother and father came through the portal, and they're kind of in a pickle because obviously there is no real law and order, because you don't have this big government coming in that'll come in and rescue you if something goes wrong. They have a neighbor that wants their ranch and their mine, so they have to make choices on how to do it. Now, none of the 3 are what you might call Amazon warrior women. So that means that they unfortunately do have to find a man to do their fighting for them. The first daughter, Bethany, she marries a guy that used to do investigations for the big companies in the mines and stuff, and they have to deal with their neighbor, things like that. The third sister actually runs off with the son of this neighbor that's after them. They run off to a different city because they're not wimpy like Romeo and Juliet. They're just gonna get shut of their families and go. Okay. So they go to do that, and then the second sister actually marries an old friend, and it's basically they're basically love stories. They're about how they work out their marriages and how they fall in love with and really come to make a living and survive there on this planet. And it's fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed writing it.
It sounds like fun. And actually, what does the planet look like? Is it small or?
Well, it actually looks pretty much like Earth. It has a darker sun. The oceans are a little higher saline content. The animals and the landscape are similar enough genetically that humans can survive on it. They ride tricorns instead of horses because they were adaptable. They're about the right size. They run in herds, so they tamed them to do that. Some of the animals they have goats that are actually almost the size of cows, but they look like a goat, so they call them goats. Their cows actually have the disposition of a Texas Longhorn, which means they're mean and cranky. They have a barbed tail and they have forked horns, but they're great big horns. It's just simply things like that. The planet had a really plus that they weren't expecting. They had some stones that they call blue stones that if you have enough of them concentrated and you add water to them, they catch fire. And this is not imaginary, because I actually took this. My husband has a pool service, and he deals a lot with chemicals.
Yeah.
And there actually are some chemicals that if you do that to it, it will catch fire.
That's new to me.
So you do. That's why you do have a professional pool man do your things. This book is actually the fourth book in the hand fasting series. The first one, which was A Year and a Day, and this is actually, she is the niece of the hero in from this day forward, not from this day forward, from the second book. And this takes place, she's grown up, they've kind of settled down with a lot of their things, and she buys a shop in the capital city, and one day she's out jogging on the beach, and she finds a body. And it turns out the body belonged to the person she bought the shop from. But it was kind of like, ooh. She didn't want to get close enough to it to find out, so it took her a while. And this person that she bought the shop from actually had been a fence for the Thieves Guild, which is a international crime cartel, kind of like the mafia. And she had stolen some loot that somebody had given her defense. So Jayla, who's the heroine in this book, she has the thieves that Lipsky, that was the shop owner, that she stole the jewels from, breaking into her shop, looking for where they were hidden. She's got the international people because they were stolen from another planet, investigating her, and as well as the local police, because they think either she was a part of the theft, or she's dumb and she makes really good bait, and they can catch her, catch the guys that are after her. And it's actually considered a cozy mystery. When I do the covers, I try to get elements from everything of it. For this one, you can see the spaceships in the background, and you can see she's got the jewels in one hand and a magnifying glass in the other.
She's beautiful.
Well, now that she really, in the book, she really is a doll. I mean, she's the kind, knock 'em on your feet. And she got that from her mother, who was obviously passed on before she came to. But she really is a beauty, and that causes her problems as well.
I can understand that, because a lot of beautiful people get the worst treatment.
Yeah, and they do tend to think that if you're really beautiful, that you're really dumb.
Yeah.
Well, she's not. And they, when she tries to join the local merchants guild, he turns out to be the kind of slime bag that she really doesn't, because he for the women shop owners, if they didn't put out for him, well, then he turned them down. And unfortunately for him, her boyfriend happens to be closely related to the one of the head of the clan's chief of security. So she complains to her boyfriend, who complains to his uncle, and he goes down to the local police department and stirs up a real hornet's nest. So they go chasing for that, and it's I tried. She's also got to deal with a house bot, which she inherited, and the house bot, apparently Lipsky had used him for other things other than housekeeping, and he keeps wanting Jayla to take on these services, and she doesn't want to. So she ends up getting rid of him. But it's I enjoyed writing this one. This one it kept pulling at me. I had started to write this book here, and this one kept pulling at me, so I ended up writing both of them at the same time, and it's real hard.
That's hard.
Not to get confused between the two.
That's for sure.
Yes, but I also plan on following up this particular series with stories about Lady Catherine's daughters, and she was in the heroine in A Year and a Day, and these were the three girls that she adopted when she went off planet, basically in her search for immigrants that they had to have, because they had to have the immigrants after the war. Yep.
Well, I think you must have a little alien in you because you're really involved in the other planets and stuff like that, which is so exciting and so much fun.
Well, one of the most really fun things about writing science fiction is that you create this world, and you live in this world while you're writing the book.
Right.
And you can do, anything that you wanted to have. Like, I always enjoyed just little pets, that you could take with you everywhere. Mm-hmm. And for this particular series, I actually created two. One of them is what I call a quirka, which is, it's pretty much, if you want to imagine it, it looks like a hedgehog, a cross between a hedgehog and a squirrel.
Oh,
the body is about the size of your hand, and it goes everywhere with you. It's very empathic.
I would like that.
Oh yes, and the quills on his back are for defense. They fill up with venom, and they can that's how they defend themselves from predators. Yeah. The other little critter is a what I call a dactyl, and it looks sort of like a very long-haired bat, except that it does have arms as well as wings, arms and hands. Oh. And it's like they're both very, very close to their people.
Do you illustrate your books?
I keep saying I'm going to, but I have to be able to sit down and just do it. I keep wanting to. I wanted to do one for the tricorns, and for this book, because it's basically just a horse with the three horns and stuff. But I didn't quite get around to it.
Well, it's wonderful to be a writer and to create. I know that you really must enjoy that. But tell us where people can get your books.
Okay, these are down at the Fresno Water Tower, and I have them under review for the Book Barn in Clovis. Oh. He hasn't okayed them for me yet, so I can't say they're there, but that's where I... And if you want to go in and ask him for them, I'm sure that would promote him to put them in there.
Good idea.
They also can be found in ebook format on all of the ebook sites. Yeah. I found this really great place called Draft to Digital that distributes to Amazon, to Kobo, to iBooks, and all these places. And then the hard copies, the copies like this, can be found, as I said, at the Fresno Water Tower. Mm-hmm. You can order them from me direct, and I also sell them on Amazon and on CreateSpace.
Okay, and your website?
My website is www.gaildaleysfineart.com, and you want to look at the page you want to go to is Alien World Romances.
Oh, okay.
And there's basically instructions.
That's why I ask people usually, get a pencil and paper so you can write the stuff down. But if you don't remember all of this stuff, you can always get in touch with us here, and we'll get the information out. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful having you. And you have a Merry Christmas.
You do too. Merry Christmas.
Okay. We'll be right back.